everyone, this is Jennifer, and I got some happy mail from UNIBALL. If you have followed me, you know that I love UNIBALL ink pens. I have them here in my little pen organizer on my desk, and I ordered quite a few for Mother's Day, a little treat to myself, and I wanted to do some pen testing with you. So I have some different paper. I'll tell you about the paper, and we'll test out the new ink pens and the old ink pens that I've already had on hand that I've been using on all the different paper sources. And I will link the paper or planner as well as my pen organizer and all of the different UNIBALL ink pens. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, I want to just start with some computer paper, because I think people that work in an office, like I do, and you just use kind of basic paper, I like a good UNIBALL for my work stuff in the school setting. So that might apply to some of you guys as well. This is paper from Amazon that I also print my inserts on. So if you see pictures of my traveler's notebook on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, that's what I do here with my Crefective paper inserts. I print my own. So a little shout out to Crefective paper. If you use a traveler's notebook or a ring bound or disc bound planner, she has tons of different sizes and you just print them at home. So I will link Crefective paper and the paper on Amazon that I get in case you want to go down that rabbit hole yourself. But that's what I'm going to be testing first on, is just that basic paper. So we have, let's see, I've got some midday sun coming in here, so I'm trying to avoid too much shadowing. I'll start with my ink pens that I've had in here and have been using for quite some time. This is the current one. It's a 0.38, and this is the Uni one. I can't decide if it would be best to do all of the pens on each paper source or kind of do them side by side. I think I'll just go through all of the pens. The screen is not big enough for me to fit them all on, so we'll do that. And I will also put timestamps. So if you're using a certain type of paper or planner, you can like skip to that section. Like if you use a Day Designer or an Erin Condren or Hobonichi. This is also the Uni one, but it's like the shorter, fatter version of this. And it's nice because it's a little bit of a thicker barrel. It's kind of beat up. I have some ink splotches on here because it goes in and out of my pen case. But this is the 0.5, and if you have like joint pain of any type, I feel like this is a little easier to grasp than the skinny one, but total personal preference there. You can see I have quite a few of this white version as well, and this is 0.38 Uni Signo. So you can see like this 0.38 is a little more fine than this one. So depending on what you prefer, I am pretty heavy-handed, so just keep that in mind. And then we have some of these other Signos in the black barrel, still retractable. And I have those in some different nib sizes as well. All right, we're gonna do the same thing with this one. This is a 0.38. If you are picking up on it, I do prefer a thinner point just because I am so heavy-handed at times. But I have this one in the 0.38, and then I also have it in 0.5 and 0.7. Getting a little thicker there, and then this is the 0.7. And those are the ones that I've kind of had on hand. Oh, I forgot this one. This is the RT1 in, you guessed it, 0.38. that one's about out, so I need to switch to a new one. RT1.38. Okay, so those are the ones that I've been using, and I have, you know, usual multiples in stock just in case they run out. I also gift these to coworkers or friends because, you know, like mines, they enjoy ink pens as well. And they're very reasonably priced, I will say that. So I'll link all of those. Let's jump into these ones that I ordered from the website. So in my order, I did get just this little thank you card. I got a couple of stickers, I believe. They also manufacture markers, the Posca or Posca markers. I'm not sure how you say that. And then I got a UNIBALL sticker. So I'll probably be putting that on my traveler's notebook. And then these are the ink pens that I ordered for today. So I can't wait to try these out. These obviously are my first time using them, so I get to experience this part right along with you. This is a newer pen from UNIBALL called the UNIBALL Zento. I did get it in the 0.38. I like this one. So far all of these have been gel ink, which is what I prefer to write with versus a ballpoint pen. This is a little slicker in the center and then kind of a matte top finish on part of the barrel. Retractable, does have the little clip, so I like that one. This is the UNIBALL gel stick and it is the 0.7. This is a non-retractable option, so it does have a cap and it clicks closed. Next we have the UNIBALL Premeir. This does have a clip and it's retractable, but this is very squishy and it's a little bit thicker of a barrel. So like on these that I was talking about, if you like something a little thicker in your hand, you might prefer this one. It's really comfortable to write with. Again, the UNIBALL Premeir. I've actually had one of these in the past and I used it all up, so that was a good replacement. This is the UNIBALL Vision needle. It is waterproof and fade proof, and it is in fine, so different, you know, tip variances there. That was a very smooth write. I do like a good needle tip, so if you like needle tips, that would be a good option. This is the same as these Uni ones. I just got a black barrel. This one is a 0.5. I've been seeing a lot out about these UNIBALL Signo broads, and I used to have this in like a white and a gold metallic back in the day when we had darker stickers from sticker kits, and I would use the white on those darker stickers, and I remember it being like butter. So I wanted to pick up one of these and I just went with the blue. This is metallic blue. That is the smoothest write so far. Love that one. This is another UNIBALL Signo. It must be a little bit different than the ones I showed you for my old pens because the barrel is different, but it doesn't have a label on it. If I can find one from my order summary, I'll put that in there for you. But this is definitely a blue-black ink. At least I think that's how it's coming out. This is another Vision needle. This is in the micro tip. So here was the fine, and then this is the micro. It is a little bit more of a fine tip pen. It looks like I got another one of these. This must be in a different barrel tip. This is the 0.7 option of the Uni 1. And then this one that I was just raving about, I got that in this black as well. This is another Zento, but this one is in the 0.5. So here it was up here in the 0.38 for comparison. That writes more like a 0.38 in my opinion. It doesn't look too much different than that one. And then this is the Zento only in 0.7. And in my opinion, this one writes more like a 0.5. And we're gonna wrap up with another UNIBALL Signo edition. And I bought this one because I typically use a blue ink in my Erin Condren planner. I don't necessarily know why. That is just a preference, I guess, or habit. And I wanted to try some blue ink pens out as well. If I'm looking ahead to my next Erin Condren planner in July, I typically use the same ink pen for the entirety of my planner, and I'm kind of liking this blue option or even this one. So you can see here how those all work on just like basic computer paper. Again, all very reasonable in price. Nothing's like over the top expensive. I think that the Zento was the most expensive out of all of those. And you can see there's really not any bleed through at all, maybe very minimal shadowing. But again, I do have a really heavy hand, so keep that in mind. So we're gonna kind of stick this up out here to the side, and then I wanna show you those new ink pens on some different paper sources, starting first with the Hobonichi Weeks. So Hobonichi has new paper for 2025. I've seen a lot of people out like begging for pen suggestions and kind of upset maybe a little bit with Hobonichi for changing the paper, but I wanted to see how the UNIBALL pens work on the Weeks paper because I have a feeling, just a hunch, that there's going to be some good options. So let's run back through those. This time I'm going to kind of group them by type so that we can see them right next to each other. I apologize for not being as organized with that first little test. For the blue ink pens kind of separately, and I had a couple of these. And we'll just start with some good old basic, like everyday ones, the UNIBALL Signo being one of them. And what I'm gonna do is just write, this is the one that's in the blue black. I'm gonna write, and I'm gonna give that just a second to dry. But then I'm going to do a little squiggle over here and then see how quickly you can touch. So obviously that one has a lot of smearing. This has had a little bit of time to dry as I'm sitting here. I haven't edited out any of the time. Still a little bit of smearing on that. So you'd have to be patient if you used this one. Let's do the UNIBALL Premeir next. I know this is gonna smear so bad. It's like I don't even wanna do it. I'm gonna have black ink all over my hands. This one's very juicy in this, but if you can be patient, I think that that will eventually dry up. So as far as immediate smearing, yes, that's gonna happen. All right, let's do the UNIBALL Vision needles next. We'll start with the fine and then go to the micro. Still some smearing on that one. Let's check out the micro. I don't know if you can hear that. It's a little more, it's soaking in, I think, a little bit quicker than the others. So far out of all of these, This would be my preference just on how it feels on the Weeks paper. I know that's weird, but it's like a sensory thing for me sometimes, and that feels really nice. It's not scratchy, but definitely has a little bit of grit to it. And that was the immediate smear, which is less than what I've been seeing up here. So this might be a good, and no smearing after I just let that dry. So far, this is the top contender. These are really popular in the planner community. I feel like the uni ones. So we'll do those. Let's do the 0.5, the 0.7, and let me grab a 0.38 here. So we'll do uni 1. This is the 0.38. We'll do the immediate smear test first. Oh guys, that's really good. Do the 0.5 right underneath that. Still nothing. And then the 0.7. Look how thick that is. If you like a good thick ink pen, this might be, so a little bit of smearing on that one from the immediate smear test. So we have the 0.5 or the 0.3, and these uni ones are, I think, a good option for the Weeks paper. Let's do the uni zentos next. So we'll do, again, the 0.38, the 0.5, and the 0.7. It's a little bit more organized for you guys going in order. So hopefully that's helpful. Excellent option there for this paper. Let's do the 0.5. Another excellent option. Now this uni 1 smeared a little bit when we got up to the 0.7. We'll see how the zento does. Very nice. So if you want a bold gel ink pen, this is going to be my go-to so far. That's the uni zento 0.7. If you like a little bit thinner, I think obviously these work very nicely. And we'll do the UNIBALL Broad. I have a feeling this one's going to be an instant smear. I'm afraid. Yeah, too much there. And we're not even going to check the blue because, well, maybe we will. We'll just put a little line underneath. It's going to be the same thing. Now this is the blue option of this signo up here. I'm gonna just, right, yeah, that has some smearing too. And then we're gonna finish up with the gel stick. Oh, that one's not bad at all. And it writes really smooth. So maybe if you like just a basic capped ink pen, you could pick these up pretty cheap, and I think they work well in here. All right, that's it for the Hobonichi Weeks paper. Erin Condren launched Japanese style paper notebooks themselves, and I did a testing with the Erin Condren markers, but I obviously want to do one with all of these ink pens. So we'll go in the same order as on the Weeks. This is a UNIBALL Signo in blue. Let me get to a good page here. Do the same thing. So this is a UNIBALL Signo. And we'll do the instant smear test. That works well. Let's do the same pen, only this one is in, I think it's called Blue Black. good there as well. Then we did the Premeir. This one was a little juicier and definitely had some smearing in the weeks. See how this one does. Oh guys, that is so good. This is really nice. That's a great combo for this Erin Condren Japanese style paper. I like that. All right, then we did the needle tip, the fine and the micro. Start with fine. No issues there either. So this paper is proving to be a little less finicky than the Hobonichi Weeks paper. And that one is fine as well. Next, we'll do the UNIBALL ones, starting with the 0.38. Perfect there. Then we have the 0.5. And on paper, it doesn't look much different than the 0.38, not a huge difference. And then this one is the 0.7. But all really good options for this Erin Condren paper. Next up, we have the UNIBALL Zentos. Oh, that one took a while to get started. Sometimes I found with new ink pens, it takes just a minute of writing or scribbling with them to really get the good ink flow. I'm really liking these Zentos. The fun part is going to be picking one for my planners and seeing which one I want to switch to. I think I'll freshen things up for sure in my traveler's notebook with one of these. And then I'm still trying to make a decision about ink pen for my Erin Condren. Because like I said, once I commit in my Erin Condren, then I usually don't switch. Now this one's not writing at all, but it did on the other paper. There it goes. So far, all really great options. It looks like this UNIBALL Uni 1 and the 0.7 is the boldest. Pretty similar results with the other ink pens on this paper. And then we'll do the UNIBALL Broad. I'm anxious about this one, just like I was on the Weeks, because it's just so juicy. If the Erin Condren paper holds this, guys, wow, that's awesome. Okay, so if you like a really, really juicy ink pen, this is going to be the one for you, I think. I might change my mind. Oh, there's really not even that much bleeding. Kind of giving things away. Let's finish these up. I'm jumping ahead of myself. And then we'll look at the back. This is a metallic option. Okay, so the black in this was fine. The metallic, not so much. And then we'll finish up here with the gel stick. That is a great option. Now, the deal breaker for me is going to be if there's any bleed through, because this does have a calendar section that I want to use at the front, and I am the type of person where I don't really like the shadowing or the bleed through. I know, like, I'm like fangirling over Lindsay Scribbles right now. She has a shop called The Ghosting Pen because she loves the pen ghosting or shadowing. That's just not my vibe. Her pages look fantastic, but I just can't handle it when I'm the one flipping through the pages of my own planner. So that is something to consider. If you don't mind the shadowing, like if you're a Lindsay Scribbles girl and you kind of like the shadowing, any of these are going to work. These two are going to be out for me, which is the Needle Fine. So that was these two. Those would be out for me. If I had to pick just one right now, I think it would probably be the UNIBALL Zento and the 0.5, because those aren't bad at all. And then when I write on those calendar pages in the front, when I turn to the next month, it's not going to drive me insane. So those are all good options. This paper is definitely less finicky than the Hobonichi Weeks paper, where we did that kind of side by side. Let's move on to the Day Designer Planner, and we'll go in the same order. I don't think this planner has notes pages. I can just use the back page. I did a little, actually, we will do this very back cover page. It's the same paper. Look here, I've already started. I find myself using or dedicating the last page in my planners as a pen testing reference often. So this video is just kind of something I typically do myself, but I decided to share with you guys today. You'll have to let me know if it is a video that you enjoy. I know pens aren't for everyone, but I get a little excited when I get to upgrade my ink pens. All right, we're gonna do the same order again on the Day Designer paper, starting with the Signo in blue. And we'll do the same little test where we let that dry, but then immediately, so nothing there. So that would be an option. And then this is the blue black. I do have a rare eye disease, so I apologize if it's black. It sure does look like navy blue to me, but again, everything will be linked, and I will link them in the order that I'm showing you here so you don't get confused, or you can find them easily. Next up, UNIBALL Premeir. Another good option. I figured this paper would do really well. It takes all types of ink pens from what I have found. And then we have the UNIBALL Vision Needle, again in the fine and the micro. That's a good option. Let's see how this micro does. Now, again, just like the last pages that I showed you, my preference is going to depend on how these shadow, and those shadowed quite a bit on the Erin Condren paper compared to the others. Then we have the Uni Ones, very popular in the planner community right now. I can see why. They are a good everyday pen. There's the 0.3, 8. This is the 0.5. And we'll wrap up with the 0.7. Little smearing there on the instant smear test. We'll move into the Uni Zentos, and I'm just kind of sitting here thinking about, like, someone asked me at work, well, what's your favorite ink pen? And my response was, that depends on the ink pen paper combo. And what I mean by that is I might pick one of these for my Day Designer, and then pick a different one for my Erin Condren, and pick a different one for my Traveler's Notebook. So maybe we need to talk about like a recap and do each top choice per planner. So the zentos work really well on here. Next up on the Day Designer, we have the Signo Broad. This was that really juicy one. I might just be like really extra and use one of these for the dates or the top priorities in this planner, and then use one that doesn't take as long to dry or is a little bit finer tip in my to-do and scheduling. That metallic option just does not sit well on this paper. I think no matter what paper that you use for that one, you might have to be a little patient on the dry time. All right, so like I said, it depends on the pen paper combo. So out of these pens on the Day Designer paper, I think I would probably stick, oh look, I wrote this wrong. Guys, this isn't the Uni one. Those were the Uni ones. This was the Zento. Sorry about that. I would probably pick one of these, but I liked those too. These are more like a regular, the Uni one and the Uni Zento, in my opinion, are more like just a basic gel ink, if you're familiar with that. Whereas these needle tips feel more like a really fine point marker. Just my opinion. I am not a pen professional. I just, you know, I use an ink pen daily, so I'm just sharing with you my personal thoughts. So don't come at me if you're like, that's not a marker. That's just how it feels to me when I write. Okay, so there is the Day Designer paper. We're gonna finish up with the Erin Condren paper. I feel like of all the planners that I'm showing you today, Erin Condren maybe has the biggest reputation, have you, for paper quality. This is really thick. It is definitely has some texture and toothiness to it that the other papers that I have showed you don't have. So this is going to be like a completely different writing experience on this paper versus any of the others. But I think that's true with everything. Like, that's why I said, I'm coming back to it again. The pen paper combo matters. So your experience on this paper versus this paper is going to be totally different. And that's okay. All right, let's jump in to the Erin Condren paper again with the UNIBALL signos in the blue and the navy or blue black. No issue there. No issue there. Then we have the Premeir. I have a feeling I'm gonna like this combo. Oops, I spelled Premeir wrong, forgive me. Not bad there either. Then we'll do those marker-like feel. So the UNIBALL Vision. Oh, a little bit there at the tail end. This was the fine. I didn't put that down. And then we have the micro. All good options so far on those. Next up, Uni ones. Really like that one. This might be, I might have to break my blue ink streak of the past, I don't know, like 10 years and go with black ink in my Erin Condren planner. Because those feel really nice. Even the 0.7, like very minimal smearing on an immediate touch. So if you like bold, I'm gonna suggest that. I never thought I would do a long video on pen testing. I just looked up at the camera feed and we're like 47 minutes into this. Of course I need to edit it down, but if you're still hanging out at this point, thank you so much. I just like talking about ink pens, so chat with me. Do you have questions so far, or is there a different paper pen combo you want me to test out with these? I can do that. So this is the Zento. No issues there. That's the 0.38. This is the 0.5. And then we'll do the 0.7. All of these are great options as well. A very similar writing experience as the UNIBALL 1. So you can't go wrong with either of those. That might come down to just the pen barrel itself. You can see that they are very, very similar. The Uni ones almost have like, well, this part of the barrel is a color, and then this has like a grip on it, where the Uni Zentos do not. It's just like slick barrel. So if you need a grippy, you might do the UNIBALL 1. If you don't, you might try the Zento. A grippy. Like, who am I making up these pen terms? Sorry, guys. But that's the word that came to mind. So pen barrel options might also affect your choice. It's done with the Erin Condren paper. This really soaks up gel ink because of the texture. So if any of the paper works for these UNIBALL Uni Broad, it would probably be this set. The metallic option didn't work in any of the papers. That smeared a little bit, actually. I think it did better on some of the other paper, surprisingly. And then this is the metallic option, and I have a feeling it's going to really smear. Yep. And then last up on the Erin Condren paper is the UNIBALL gel stick. Okay, so that is gonna wrap up the paper portion, but I have one more part if you wanna see it, and that is sticker pen combo, because I think that is a different topic, but kind of goes with this, and it definitely matters as well. So let's take a quick look at the pen paper, like a little recap here. So we have the Erin Condren paper, we have just plain copy paper, we have the Day Designer, we have the Erin Condren Japanese style paper, and we have the new Hobonichi Weeks paper. And I know gel ink pen people, you know, you've been in, what am I doing? You've been maybe trying the Hobonichi Weeks, and I've seen a lot of you on the internet like, help me find a good gel ink pen because you're frustrated. So maybe that'll give you some suggestions. I think the Uni 1 or the Zento, again, the finer nibs, would be my go-to. Okay, so there we have like a side-by-side. I don't even think I can fit it all in screen, but you get the idea on the different paper sources. Let me know if you have questions about any of that. And then we're gonna move to sticker testing. Now, to add one more layer to the equation, not only do I like to pick an ink pen based on the paper and how it feels and writes and all of that, but I also want to be able to use the same ink pen on my stickers. I use PLANNERKATE stickers, and it's one of the reasons I have used her stickers for quite some time, is her matte removable paper. And I want to use the same ink pen. So for example, if I decide to go with a Uni 1, I'm going to use it in the planner, and I'm not going to switch back and forth and have a special pen for my stickers. I want to be able to use the same combo. So let's wrap this up with some final testing here. I'm going to go in the same order again, starting with the Uni Signos. Little smearing there. This is the blue black. Not bad. Then we have the Premeir. Now, I am the type of person where I don't mind waiting a little bit of time. I don't want to have to wait a whole lot of time, but I am semi-patient, I guess. I know there are people out there that they're like, absolutely not, or like how I hold my ink pen, or if you're a lefty, it just smears when I write, so I need something that dries immediately. Maybe this one isn't for you. Let's do another immediate little. There is a tiny bit of smearing there with the immediate test. Next up, we have the Vision needles. Not my favorite on the sticker here. So this was the, what do they call it? Fine. Yeah, that's the fine. And then this is that micro. Definitely not a favorite. Not smooth enough for me. I don't like it when ink pens skip either. That sort of drives me nuts. All right, uni ones. I don't think I'm gonna have any problem here. Nope, I like that one. That's the 0.38. I'm not surprised there because it's one of my favorites in general. That one's good. And then we'll do the 0.7. Oh, I'm gonna have to be patient if you want the 0.7. Right, Zentos are up next. This one feels really nice. It might be the winning one so far. Let's try the 0.5 next. Yep, that will work. And then the 0.7. So if you like a thick, I'm going to recommend the Zento over the UNIBALL, both in 0.7, but this one had no smearing. Then we have the Signo Broad. Lots of smearing. This is the metallic that we've had so much trouble with, but it is pretty. So if you need something that looks gorgeous and can wait, it's gonna take a while, but it might be worth it, depending on what kind of look you're going for. And then this is the gel stick. Minimal right there on the tail end where I had written last. Okay, so if you are a PLANNERKATE sticker user, again, we have options. I think the Signos work. I think the Premeir would work if you let it dry just a tad. Uni ones, the 0.38 and the 0.5, no issues at all. And then the Zentos all are like perfection. So that's a good gel ink pen option for the PLANNERKATE stickers. And then these you're gonna have to be very patient for. All right, that is my Mother's Day spoil myself with some new ink pens haul. I hope you enjoyed the paper testing. If you have questions, let me know. Thanks for hanging around. A little bit of a different video. I know it's long. If you're still here, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you back next time.